What was something you didn't know about women? Story 1. Their extremities are made of ice. They siphon heat and life during their slumber. They embrace you with their frozen limbs and steal your heat. They feed on us. When I'm cold, I tell my husband I need to absorb him. He's my son. My girlfriend does this all the time. I'll be covered up with her and she'll go, "Hey, feel my hands," and before I can react, I have ice cold hands on my chest. Women definitely get a lot colder than men do. Can't explain why. Story 2. That it really is the thought that counts, at least with the right woman. A random candy bar when she was having a bad day often meant way more than a very nice meal or evening out. I honestly wish my ex understood this. It wasn't about the present, but the thought. I would have loved a tea when he came home with his own coffee, or just a small little treat from the grocery store the very few times he went for us. I nearly divorced my husband after Christmas. After I'd spent the entire month of December first working a full-time job with an hour commute each way, but then doing all of the shopping for him, both of our kids, my family and his whole family, and bearing the brunt of it all financially from my paychecks, then many hours of backbreaking wrapping gifts, cleaning, and all the decorating, he had not so much as put an ornament on the tree. After we passed out all the gifts to everybody, I was the only one with absolutely zero to open, not even a card. At that point, my husband asked me what email I can access from my phone and proceeded to send me a Groupon for a date night. Story 3. How much hair magically appears everywhere? LOL. The second you have a woman with long hair in your house, it's fucking over. They could be there for only 2 days. It doesn't matter. Hair on the couch, hair on the ceiling fan, hair in my mouth when I wake up in the morning, hair in the shower, hair in my blankets, hair everywhere. Yeah, there's no point in cleaning all that up. It's just gonna get worse every day. Story 4. When my wife realizes that she is about to get her period, her mood instantly improves. But no matter my suspicions, she needs to figure this out for herself. This is me. When I realize I'm A, in a bad mood due to my period coming, and or B, super relieved I'm not pregnant, either of these things will improve my mood tenfold. I get really depressed and down on myself because I get extremely tired. I sleep 9 hours as is, but when I'm about to get my period, I can often sleep up to 20 hours in a day. It's a huge relief when I realize I'm PMSing because somehow I forget every month that I'm not in fact a failure. I have a hormonal cycle. Don't ever tell her that though, because she's probably gonna get angry or self-conscious. Story 5. When they ask if you want to go to the grocery store, that they really want you to go with them. Are you kidding? You guys are living that life? I've seen my girlfriend wait literally over 15 hours for me to go to a shop in order to ask me to get the drink she wanted. Literally 7 a.m., I really fancy a bottle of orange juice. Are you going to the shop this morning? Wasn't planning to, no. 5 to midnight, I'm nipping out to grab some tea bags before they close. Can you get me my orange juice? The shop is opposite my front door. Honestly, I live a pretty sad life, but there's nothing more I love than going around a grocery store or a clothing store, etc. with a girl that I love. I guess I take some satisfaction in seeing her face light up when she sees something she likes, and then I get it. Couple grocery store shopping can be a great bonding experience. It can also end relationships. Story 6. I'm not sure where, but somewhere on their bodies they must grow bobby pins, or they have a secret bobby pin farm. They multiply and end up everywhere. I have never, ever understood this. I have never used bobby pins. My daughter used them, and I found them fucking everywhere, even attached to my computer once. My roommate can't keep the damn things corralled either. I wrangle them and find 20 more. She can't find a damn one. They're fucking ridiculous. My ex-boyfriend, who I did not live with, asked me after we broke up if I wanted my hair clipped back. I asked him what he meant and he showed me a handful of bobby pins. It made me laugh. I don't think he understood the bobby pin shedding phenomenon at the time. The bobby pin dimension must be researched. Story 7. That when they complain, it doesn't always mean they want you to fix it, or that they've come to a negative conclusion. It's just thinking out loud in a way that most guys don't. Yep, usually all you have to do is say, "Wow, that sucks," and give them a hug. It was an ugly day when years later my wife finally let me know she didn't want a solution. She only had to tell me once. Sometimes we don't expect something from you, sometimes we just want to vent. It's cathartic to talk about your feelings out loud, and I feel like it's something men should do more. Y'all are pressured to keep your emotions under wraps to be manly. Come join us in the ranting field every once in a while. It'll make you feel better, I promise. Women are definitely way more vocal about their emotions than men are, and sometimes it can come across the wrong way. Story 8. How much they shed. 2 women in my house, wife and daughter, and once a month I have to pull a disgusting hairball the size of a large rat out of the shower drain. It's like I live with Chewbacca. This is why I comb my hair with my fingers in the shower, pick all the hairs off my hands, and put it on the windowsill to throw out when I'm done. Sometimes I forget to throw it out and then it spooks my husband the next time he gets in the shower, but it's definitely better than having to pull it all out of the drain later. I've had to use my favorite long-handed oversized screwdriver to pry up the shower drain and its accompanying 4-foot drain Wookiee because I was out of crowbars and it wasn't going to come out any other way. Poor screwdriver. You were never meant for such depravity. Make sure you have a drain cleaner handy if you live with multiple women. Trust me, you will need it. Story 9. Periods can be really debilitating for some and a complete nothing burger for others, or it can flip-flop throughout your life. In my 20s and up to late 30s, I thought I was being a baby in puberty. Late 30s, curled up in a ball, crying, throwing up from cramps, and bleeding through my pants if I don't go to the bathroom as soon as I feel my body preparing to gush. I wasn't a baby. I just blocked it out. Edit. Does anyone else have their period every 3 weeks instead of 4? I'm anemic, but going to BC soon. Just have never met anyone else who had the constant hormonal fluctuation of 1 week of normal, 1 week PMS, and 1 week of menstruating. It would be nice to commiserate and tips on anemia. Also, today is my birthday and my plans were rescheduled due to my partner's illness, so thank you for upvoting me randomly. If it's really that bad, she should be seeing a doctor. The irony, the doctor far too often will be little to no help, and she might have to fight to be heard and taken seriously. It gets anyone to even try to do something about it. Yeah, every woman's experience with them is just slightly different. Story 10. That the buttons on their shirts were on the other side. That blew my mind. It's a history thing. Back in the day, rich ladies didn't dress themselves. Their maids did. So with the buttons on the other side, it makes it easier for the person standing across you to button it, since most people are right-handed. And that just stuck till today. Crazy how that lasted for so long and influenced fashion to this day. Story 11. No matter how many bras they own, there is only one that is perfect, and God forbid you somehow lose or ruin that one bra. She'll make John Wick look like a choir angel. There's serious math that goes into designing them. It takes years to qualify as a bra-architect. I watched a documentary on the history of the bra once, and they had a segment in a bra factory where they interviewed one of the bra designers. He had a computer with what looked like CAD, showing a very detailed diagram of a bra. Apparently designing a bra that will adequately contain and support a semi-solid mass while moving with the body, being comfortable to wear all day, durable enough to withstand sweat and skin oils, and being economical to manufacture is extremely difficult. It's serious engineering. I still don't understand anything about bras, and I'm sure most women don't either at this point. Story 12. How soft they are. I know, but when I was younger, it didn't hit me till my first time just how much softer they were than me. Also cold. Women I've known all seem to get cold very easily. It's great. They're like the ultimate cool side of the pillow, and my big warm ass is appreciated for frozen fingers and feet. Everybody wins. For me, this was most noticeable after I had my first shoulder surgery. The nerve gets blocked for the arm and you can't use it for 24 hours after it becomes like a stranger, completely numb. Seriously no sensation at all. Feeling my hands normally, they just feel, well, normal. I never really understood how soft my wife's hands are until I felt mine for what seemed like the first time. My immediate response was to ask my wife, "You let me touch you with this hand?" It felt awful. If I were her, I wouldn't want some dude holding on to me with the catcher's glove he calls a hand. Same. I grew up in a very strict, gender-segregated, fundamentalist Christian upbringing and never held a woman's hand until I was 18. I was stunned at how soft it was and felt something like sadness. What have I been missing out on? For real, a woman's skin can feel like heaven. It's just so soft. Story 13. That most women's clothing doesn't have pockets, and they're very bitter about it. My boyfriend also recently found out not all places that make jeans for women come with different inseams like men's jeans do. He was stunned while I was explaining how I was happy the pants I was wearing were long enough on me. I'm 5'9", so finding stuff in lengths is a joyous occasion. It's a goddamn civil rights issue at this point. Story 14. I realized how much a good woman can help bring the best out of you and help you believe in yourself. Blows my mind how much so many dudes just go for the hottest girl possible to make their trophy wife. A great woman is truly unmatched for so many reasons. Not to say a great woman can't be super hot, so don't attack me for that. I had only ever known bad women in my life. The ones that would belittle me, cheat on me, make fun when I showed emotions, just generally terrible people. I was broken. Then I met my wife. Again, we had met in high school but went separate ways for a while, and she put me back together piece by piece and made me want to be a better person, showed patience when the storm was raging, showed kindness when I backed into a corner, made me know my worth, and in figuring this out with her assistance, I wanted to give her the world as a thank you, but I had to better my career and self to do so. So I began my career and sought therapy for something she couldn't help with. And here we are 13 and a half years of marriage later, 16 years total together, and 2 kids, and I still feel I need to continue to improve for her and my boys. It is amazing what a good woman can do for your soul, no matter how lost and broken you are. Story 15. How impervious to hot water they are. My wife's shower seems permanently set at scalding. Washing the dishes, scalding. Bathwater, scalding. No fun time in the shower here. I value not melting my skin. Woman here. Hubby tells his friends all the time that my hands are heat resistant. One time I boiled pasta for a macaroni salad. I knew hubby was watching, so when he went to the bathroom, I swapped out the hot water for cold. When he came back, I poured the water out and used my hands to shield the noodles from falling out into the sink. I purposefully did not use the colander. The look on his face was priceless. He hung up the phone so fast and walked over to me saying, "Hun, are you feeling all right today?" Story 16. Tampons are super absorbent. She came home one day and the sink was full of saturated tampons because I was just amazed by how much water one can hold. I was chastised and sent immediately out to buy more. Totally worth it. Had a buddy on my wrestling team who got himself a nosebleed at a meet. Shoved them little mini tampons up his nose, they became saturated and fell out. The ref stopped the match. We gave him some more tampons and the same thing happened. Ref is going to have to call the match in the opponent's favor if we can't stop the bleeding. So the coach shoved 2 mini tampons in each nostril and then taped them in there by wrapping medical tape around his nose and the back of his head. The kid won the match, but my god did he look funny doing it. Your comment reminded me of the time I came home to find my little brothers had discovered the tampon stash in the bathroom, opened some up, and was delighted they found sticks of dynamite to play with. They were throwing them across the living room and diving behind couch cushions screaming, "Fire in the hole!" My mom was pissed. Story 17. Birth control has some truly horrendous side effects, and it's sad that modern medical science hasn't come up with safer birth control options. I was given Nexplanon, an arm birth control implant, a few years ago in the spring of my junior year of undergrad. The doctor knew I was on antidepressants. I specifically asked her about side effects, and she said that there wasn't any I should worry about. I won full rides to multiple different top 25 law schools not long after, but the Nexplanon made me incredibly depressed. It took me a long time to connect the dots, so I had the implant for 2 years. Fast forward to a suicide attempt and flunking my first semester of law school, losing my scholarship from being too depressed to function, sleeping 18 plus hours a day, I found out that Nexplanon is linked to depression. I begged every OBGYN office in the area, I had moved to another state for law school, to ask if they removed them. Nobody would touch it. Some of them only implanted them and didn't remove them. Others didn't either. I finally had to drive to an ER and refuse to leave until someone would remove it. I waited for over 6 hours, and multiple doctors had asked me to leave. I tried to say this on r/birth control so that people would at least be aware of the possible side effects, but it was removed, and that account was banned for being anti-birth control. I'm all for people making their own decisions about birth control, but damn, women have the right to make informed decisions. I had a stroke at 38 while on birth control pills. The neurologist and other doctors said the hormones were the reason. Apparently, as you get past 35, taking any estrogen increases your risk factor. I was never told this, even after seeing multiple doctors between 35 and 38. Yes, I think this issue would be taken way more seriously if men were the ones facing complications. Story 18. I never knew what soft sheets felt like until I spent the night with a girl for the first time. Who knew what thread count was? Women know. Most men don't. I was 17 and remember laying in her bed and was like, why the fuck is the bed as soft as a cloud? She laughed and just thought I was being funny. When she laid in my bed, she understood. My sheets felt like cardboard by comparison. That's when she taught me about thread count for sheets. Such an eye-opener. I am still trying to convince my boyfriend to let me throw out his old sheets and pillowcases. They're still usable. Yeah, but they feel like paper. Did throw out at least one set last weekend. Got a hole in it that the wash made worse. Thanks, shitty washer. Yeah, I kinda did know this. Had $20 sheets and still had ambitions of getting something like $300 bed sheets at some point, but upgraded to $70 sets, and they're amazing. I'm in bed right now on a Sunday morning. I put them on yesterday and then had a shower before bed. The little things in life. Story 19. That periods will hurt. I always thought it was just the blood leakage and the discomfort and awkwardness associated with it, but I never knew that women get pain from it until I had my first relationship at 21. Really sad that they had to endure this every month. It's kind of unfair that they had to go through this part from 1,000 other problems they face every day. Women's anatomy is an endless mystery. I always tell my friends and family when I have my period, because I feel like there's so much secrecy and shame around it, and it's not fair that people have to suffer in silence. It is very painful for me, and I always have digestive issues too. It's not something I want to be trying to hide a third of my life. I find it really sad that people are going through this all the time and are conditioned to not bring it up. That moment when you realize that the reason women's anatomy is an endless mystery is that medical science didn't give their physiology any import for generations because they were treated like broodmares. How much of the confusion and by extension hate of the unknown men hold in their breasts surrounding women is at the same time excruciating and heartbreaking. Women are our mothers, daughters, and sisters. They are the creatures in the unique position within our culture to be the most loving and most loved, but for generations have been treated with disrespect, distrust, and outright hate. Even now in 2022, in developed countries like America, women are still fighting for their reproductive rights. The right to choose how to operate their own bodies is being withheld from them. I can't begin to tell you how deplorable something like that is. Even with all this so prevalent in our minds, there is still a growing movement of men that treat women as though they are unjustly withholding sex from them. I can't even. I don't think any man could truly ever figure out just how much women go through, whether it's menstruation or childbirth. Story 20. Loads I didn't know until I got married. Then even more. I learned 25 years after that when I had a daughter. One of my first realizations was just how expensive it was being a female, just factoring in bath, beauty, and sanitary products. And my lady doesn't go for the super expensive luxurious brands either. The one thing my girlfriend splurges on is her shampoo. It's like $40 a bottle. I was shocked to find this out. I'm glad my hair fell out though. Her hair is one of the softest, silkiest things I've ever felt, and I would be tempted to pick up some of this fancy shampoo for myself. I've had this conversation a lot with guys. They're often frustrated that we can't save more by just using an inexpensive option that works for them. Especially for hair, the type of product makes a huge difference in how it looks. There's often not a much cheaper option. People with higher maintenance curly hair probably have it the worst though. I once dated a guy who lost his entire mind that my sunblock for my face was like $40. He had accidentally broken the bottle and needed to replace it and had a fit saying that I was wasting money, but switching to another brand meant weeks or months of breakouts, and $40 was fairly inexpensive compared to a lot of the face products out there. The pink tax is also a very real thing. People don't talk about it anymore. Story 21. All my life, if someone complained about a problem, my response was to think of and offer solutions. That's how you help and show you care. If I have a problem, I welcome ideas on how to fix it. Women don't necessarily work the same way. There are times she just wants you to listen and not try to fix it. Replace maybe don't hang out with Karen with, man, Karen sure can be a bitch sometimes. This is not a male/female thing. I'm a woman and I naturally offer solutions. It has annoyed every boyfriend I've ever had until I learned how to just say, that sucks. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Want a hug? The best advice I was ever given as a mother with a daughter and clashing personalities was to start off with, are you wanting advice or to vent while I listen and support? No matter the type of relationship, putting this out there at the start cuts out so much BS. My husband and I use this as well, and it saved us so much time and drama. So awesome it works for you as well. Story 22. I honestly didn't realize how dangerous and widespread eating disorders are until I got with my ex and learned her history. She really educated me. She had anorexia when she was younger, and it got so bad that she had to be in a wheelchair because she risked having a heart attack if she stood up. Hell, even as a woman, I didn't know the full extent of eating disorders until I myself stayed in an eating disorder facility. I'll paint a picture for you. Young girls are away from their parents, mothers are away from their children. On the first day there, we had a feeling circle where we went around a circle and everyone talked about how they felt. The first one to speak was this woman in her 40s. The first words out of her mouth, I feel like a failure. She went on to talk about how she had 2 young children at home and how she felt like an awful parent for having to leave them to get help for her eating disorder, and how she just wanted to see her kids again. It was heartbreaking. Then there were the kids, as young as 13 years old, and the only reason it didn't go lower than 13 was because the facility had a minimum intake age of 13. If they accepted younger, I can guarantee you there would have been been younger. There were the girls who had to be carted around the facility in wheelchairs. There were so many people like this that there was an official label for this. Level 1. Most of the girls in wheelchairs also had feeding tubes or IVs. There was this one girl that stuck out to me in particular. I don't know her actual age, but definitely early teens. Definitely anemic, deathly pale with deep bags under her eyes, literal skin and bones. Looked like a slight wind would knock her over. You could see the blue veins in her deathly pale skin. She rarely spoke, and when she did, it was a weak whisper. Dragged around an IV with her everywhere. She was kicked out because her insurance company stopped paying. I don't know what happened to her. I'm the rare example where the eating disorder that landed on me there actually didn't have to do with body image at all, but by the time I left that place, I was very passionate about changing the way we talk about women's bodies. I read a study on the difference between males and females' views of self/mental health during and after puberty. Males tend to have increased self-esteem, as it's a time of voice deepening, facial hair growth, and other manly attributes. Females tend to become more self-conscious as they start to compare their bodies to what they see in the media and otherwise. It's a time of weight gain, sometimes unwanted hair growth, and emotional roller coaster. There was a higher rate of eating disorders associated with female puberty for sure. Women are often just thrown into eating disorders by society itself. There are so many pressures. Story 23. How being uncomfortable is a daily occurrence for them, whether it be periods or clothes and makeup to look pretty or people bothering them. They seem to be in a constant stream of uncomfortableness. Dude here, this is a good one. Women seem fine with the level of discomfort as part of their daily routine that would drive a guy crazy. For example, my wife regularly leaves the house with so much stuff that she has both hands full and has to make 2 trips. That would drive me nuts. She barely notices. There are a million examples of this. She wears uncomfortable shoes because they go best with that outfit, pants that won't button or zip all the way up, that she'll wear an untucked blouse with, a jacket she can't take off no matter how warm she gets because it's hiding some kind of blouse stain or not for public bra strap situation underneath. Women seem to accept an endless parade of uncomfortable choices that would make me want to gouge my eyes out. Thank you for acknowledging this. As an autistic woman, it's even worse for me, and I'm so glad to see existing as a woman in current society being acknowledged as uncomfortable, because even without my autistic crappy sensory hell, I'd hate to go outside or play sports, or have my long hair be blown in my face by the wind, or being catcalled by men, etc., etc. Story 24. Haven't exactly gotten with one, but I did realize when I started to get close with some girls in my late teens that sometimes girls just want to vent without actually wanting a solution. I really started trying to socialize in my teens, but that was mostly with guys, and I feel like when talking with guys, besides joking around and talking shit, we're just bouncing ideas around. But with a girl, you just need to be a listening ear and be on their side. Give solutions or suggestions only when requested. Now even my sisters and mom come to me to vent, which they never did to me growing up, but to be honest, I'm not complaining. I'm a low-key guy, so I don't like to get into drama, but I do like listening to other people's drama, lol. Completely. My boyfriend often responds with, well, why don't you ... when all I want to hear is, really? That's so awful, I can't believe that, that sucks, etc. I already know the solutions and might have already decided what to do about it. I just want someone to join me in feeling sorry for myself so that when I do enact the solution, I feel like an accomplished hero. I really appreciate the few men in my life who do this and don't roll their eyes. I have ADHD, so when I need to vent, I need to let it all out and word vomit, or else I'm going to explode with all the unsaid thoughts and feelings in my head. I tell my boyfriend, I promise I'm not complaining or whining at you, I just really need to articulate these thoughts. I have ADHD as well, and I realized I do this when I started going to therapy a few weeks ago. The therapist would ask me a question, and I would continue going on and on and on, adding more and more things. When I realized I was word vomiting, I started to apologize. Story 25. Married father of 2 in the UK area here. I'm going to repeat a few points by others, but here goes. After watching my wife give birth twice, I learned that they're tough in a way that I cannot comprehend. Like actually, I'm going to look Mother Nature square in the eye, understand exactly what's going to happen to me, experience permanent unexpected changes to my body, and then just take it twice. The world is not set up for women, and they have to take additional pressures, difficulties, expenses, and frankly dangers that men don't even have to think about. I could write so much much about this, but I think women and most men understand what I mean. They all have a viciously transformative life event waiting for them that men can't comprehend: menopause. My wife is starting to experience it, and it's the most distressing thing she's ever experienced. Depression, anxiety, anger, confusion. It's just unfair that they have to go through it. When you marry one, they somehow get constantly sexier throughout the time you're with them. It's really quite amazing. A quick list of the obvious: they seem to be able to see more colors than me. A house isn't a home until a woman gets her hands on it. With kids, mother really does know best. It's the thought that counts. And finally, all together now, they are just so goddamn soft. Women are the best. Find one whose ideas of sanity match yours and marry her. You won't regret it. All the best from Newcastle in the UK. Well, Sherwood Forest Centre Parks, we're away for the weekend. What frustrates me to no end is that there are so many other men out there who don't even want to entertain this idea, or even worse, claim that the opposite is true. I regularly used to stagger home alone, very drunk at night, whenever I had been to a bar or pub, and that is something literally all of my family members, partners, or friends of the opposite sex have all said is not a possibility at all for them. It's just way too risky, but for me, it never even registered as a dangerous thing to do until they told me so. I've never had to plan out that I need to spend money on a cab or bring company just to get home safely. I have always just had to worry about being physically able to walk, and that's it. There are indeed so many of these things, some more impactful than others, but they all do add up to become very different preconditions for their ability to live a careless and free life compared to us. Even women who otherwise are incredibly wealthy and privileged have some experiences and anxieties that come from just being a woman in general. Like, it doesn't matter who and where you are in society. If you're a woman, some things will just be a danger to you no matter what. Story 26. Honestly, I didn't realize that women were denied getting tubes tied because your husband may want one later and that kind of crap. I know when I tried to get my vasectomy, I was told essentially the same, but as I was joining the military, I honestly figured it was just a military thing, you know? And as an idiot kid, I didn't even bother asking. When my first serious girlfriend mentioned wanting to get it done, I responded, "Well, that's your choice, why don't you?" That led to a fun conversation. Father of two here, and I can 100% confirm this. After our second kid, we went to the doc's office to get her tubes removed. Doc told her she needs my permission. I told the doc it's not my decision to make, and that this is what she wants, then so be it. Always blows me away that a woman needs her husband's permission in this day and age to have a medical procedure performed on her own body. I honestly thought she was messing with me at first. The whole thing made, and still doesn't make, any sense to me. If someone is a legal adult and able to make decisions about their body, why on earth would they need someone else's permission for a medical procedure? That almost sounds like something you'd read in books about the 40s or 50s. Can't believe this still happens in 2023. Thanks for watching till the end. If you have a similar story that you would like to share with us, please leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. For more videos like this one right now, stay tuned or stop by our channel. Thanks again and see you next time.